That's not our vibe. Welcome to the Elemental Tea.
What's up, witches? Welcome to the Elemental Tea on our first official episode where we're going to be talking about Beltane. So here we go. All right, Beltane Witches, what do we got today? How are we feeling? I feel like I'm saucy. I feel fiery. Yeah, what's going on?
Like the sauciness too. I wanted to wear red today so that I can be nice and fiery. I'm feeling
Love
the
it.
vibes.
I'm drinking Sinfully Cherry. Very appropriate
Nice.
for
Yes,
the
yes.
event.
I got old ladies Earl Grey. I'll be the sassy old lady today. That's what I'm going with.
So my grandma was the dirtiest old lady. She was so hilarious. I miss her so much. She was
That is
always good for shenanigans.
Aw,
yes.
That's awesome.
love
That is
it.
life goals for me.
Right.
My abuelita was super sassy too. She always had nails like on point and high heels as long as she possibly could wear them, and leopard print and all kinds of
Nice.
stuff.
That's
Sassy,
awesome.
sassy. I loved it.
Yay. I love that.
I think it's so hard to tap into that when you get older. And I think as I'm getting older, I'm trying to like remember that it's okay to embrace your sensuality, even with like an aging body. And like I think it's amazing when older women can do that. And it's really inspiring.
It is because it really made it almost like to me as a kid seeing my grandmother like that, like it was something that was accessible when I
Mhm.
like in my head when I got older, I could still be sassy when I get older. It's okay because she's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Mhm.
So, like, real talk. In my former life, when I was married to my first husband, like, we had a very boring marriage in that department. And I don't know what. I just felt like I gave away so much of myself and that part of me. Like I was always very sensual and like very like expressive and very like I would always dress sexy and I would always like wear, like short skirts and like garter belts and like all that stuff. Like I would wear it to work. I didn't care. And like I don't know, that marriage just fucking killed it. So it's like I feel like so pissed that I wasted like all of the like good years of my
Um,
life. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
yeah.
And so yeah, I've been spending a lot of time, and it's interesting too because of course like I've gone through all this gender shit also since then. And so it's like how I'm navigating like kind of how to reclaim that and still like stay true to my gender expression. And then it's just like, well, I just am like, I live in drag. Like I've lived in drag my whole life. You know what I mean? And that's why I was always so over the top. Um, but yeah, I think like I am approaching 50 and it is sometimes like kind of hard to be like, can I embrace this side of myself? Can I do this? And how do I express that? Because it doesn't seem like we have permission. It seems like we have like this thing where it's like we're supposed to like start covering up and we're supposed to like wear like conservative hairstyles and like less makeup or whatever as we get older. And then, of course, with me like transitioning more to the masculine side, it's like, but I like the makeup, like I like the hair. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, what does that mean for my gender? It's like, oh yes, drag is a thing that exists. I can still do this.
Giving yourself that permission, I think, is a huge thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. That sovereignty of like, I don't need to be told how to be, how, like what's socially acceptable. Like, do I care? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do
Yeah.
I freaking care?
Yeah,
And I think that's a big thing.
I agree. Mm.
And honestly, I feel like when people have issues with those, seeing someone express themselves, I think most of the time it's because they want to express themselves and they
Agreed.
feel like they're
Mhm.
obligated to conform to the societal norm, and they're just bitter that they're too scared to do it, and you're not. And I really believe in that because why would you care about some random person you don't even know? Like, why would it matter to you? How does that affect your everyday? Like, I don't even understand that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually saw a meme that was very similar to that, Julia. It was like this woman that was like all covered in a veil, and it was like, cover your tits. And then this other girl was just like topless, like Aphrodite. And she was just like, integrate your shame.
Yes. Yes. I think I saw that one. So good.
Yeah, it's repression.
Mhm.
And I have a few, friends, I think, who sometimes kind of express that outwardly. I don't know if they realize it. But I think they're coming from a place of, because I've heard their views on it, because obviously I'm on the other side, but I've heard their views on it, and they make some interesting points about like the power of the veil, and like how there's power in being able to like cover yourself. And I do think that's really beautiful. But I also think it's beautiful when anybody who embraces the ability to remove the veil and to
Yes.
be seen fully.
That's the thing. Like, there's a difference with, like, for me, it doesn't matter how you express. Like, I tend to go down prude lane because I love layers and I love it. But it's nothing to do with I need to not show things. I just personally like it. But that being said, I'm not interested in judging someone because they're showing. I love that they're happy. Like, to me, you're happy. That's all I care about. You're happy. And I actually I love seeing people express themselves. The world is so much more colorful and rich. And I mean, I just really feel like if we all were okay with ourselves and got out of people's asses, out of their business, and just mind our own business and do what we love, I think the world would be such a better place. Because why? Like, it's such a waste of time being bitter at everyone. Like, I don't know, stop being a bitter bitch. Just like let people live. You get this body once in this lifetime. Enjoy it.
I agree. And I relate with you too about like the layers and everything. Like in the like pole world, I lean more towards like the sensual style of dancing. And I had a day where it was like Tiny Outfit Tuesday in class because everyone really loved wearing the tiny outfits and I hated it. I marketed it at my own classes and I had it, but I hated it. I love being like covered up. Something about that makes me feel sensual, like light layers.
Me
Just
too.
to like
Yeah.
flow and like feeling it just like brush against my skin. Like
Yes.
it's just like, ooh, like I feel so saucy like with it versus like
Mhm.
everything out and thong and everything like that, which I have done before, but I feel the most sensual when I can really embrace the senses. I've done a lot of blindfold dancing and it really heightens everything so much. And I love it, even though it doesn't, from just like a quick view, it's like that's not sexy at all. But then when you start feeling it, and oh, it's just so nice and very sensual. I love it.
See, I feel
Yeah.
that because I find there's something really sexy, personally for me, um, something sexy about the mystery, right? It's like I don't know, I find that really hot. And even if you were like to get freaky, the idea that you're like trying to get freaky hiding somewhere, but you can't take off everything. And I don't know, stuff like that, like I find that's really hot for me. Like I think that's such a sexy thing. And I just love the idea of people like I mean, if I saw a woman or a man like just completely covered up in a cloak, but then you just get a little peek of their ankle or something, it's like, ooh, what's going on? You know what I mean? Or a little peek of their wrist. Like something about that, it just makes me, ooh, okay, watch out, nuns.
Right?
No, I
I
think
don't
there's
know.
something about that though, because it is like there's a mystery and then it's like that little reveal. Like that's what I love about like burlesque. Like,
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the classic
Yeah.
burlesque is like one of my favorite art forms. And I just really love like the peekaboo aspect, right? The little
Yes.
like
Mhm.
bloop.
Because it's really all about
And,
the taking the off the clothes.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
slowly and like, ooh, oh no.
Like, right, you're not gonna see this yet. No. Yeah, I love that. And then like what you were saying too, Nishita, about like feeling the clothes, like that is one reason why I always like to wear lingerie. Like, like I will wear lingerie under like like baggy jeans and like a t-shirt, because it's like I love knowing it's there and like or like feeling certain things, like the way that it like maybe like restricts part of my skin, or you know what I mean, or like like I might not notice it during the day, but like maybe when I move a certain way, it's like, oh, there it is, like, and then it makes me think sexy thoughts or whatever.
There's that garter.
Walking around doing
right,
and then you're like, oh yeah, and then you're like, oh, nobody knows about this.
right? It's my own little
my joggers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think it's like such a thing where I'm like realizing just now, like part of why I am struggling so hard with kind of getting the sexy back is because like the work from home thing is real. Like, where you just like roll out of bed and you're just like, okay, I'm wearing comfy clothes. And then it's like, and when I was working out a lot, it was like I would just live in like my workout clothes and I would sleep in my workout clothes and I would work in my workout clothes. And I'm just like, I can't live like this. Like, and or it's like you said, joggers, like I'm wearing my baggy joggers constantly and I like them. They're comfortable. Like I like being comfortable. I like being cozy, I also like looking good, but it's like, so it's like I try to get like, fancy, like nice joggers, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I need to like put something fancier on occasionally.
I really resonate with that because I also work from home and like I was a fashion major and clothes, like I agree with what each of y'all said. Like it's so important to me. It is a form of self-expression. I think it's an art form. It's one of my art forms. And it's just, yeah, like the ritual of picking an outfit and doing your makeup and doing your hair, like that is something that is so sacred to me. But like the work from home, of course, like in my mind, I'm like, why would I spend this time doing all of these things? Yada, yada, yada. Like, what's the point? But it is important because really at the end of the day, like I'm not really doing those things for other people. I'm doing those things for myself. And it's in many ways like a form of self-care for me and a form of pleasure. And I I am on the constant journey of trying to, let myself have pleasure, even if it feels impractical. Remembering that that is self-care for me personally, and even if it's just like doing my hair and there's like a small compromise, like you said, like buying nice joggers, like, business on the top, party on the bottom type of situation. I can at least kind of get a little bit of feeling like I actually did something today rather than just kind of being in PJs all day and kind of feeling like I didn't really get out of bed is tough. So,
Yeah. And there's like there's a glamour magic at play when we do these things, right?
Agreed.
And like you said, like I don't know, like I love the feeling of like the makeup brush on my face. I love, you know what I'm saying? Like those little things, and to like, really approach it. And it's hard sometimes. I like to like hit the snooze button as long as possible. So it's like, but I had to remind myself, like, what's the trade-off, right? I'm sleeping for a few crappy more minutes, or I could get up and like really take some time and like instead of rushing to like put on makeup or put on clothes or do my hair or take a shower or whatever, it's like I can really luxuriate in that. Like I can really allow, like I can like massage, the face cream into my face and like really feel that, or I can like really feel how it feels to put like the brush on my eyelids or on my cheeks or whatever. And I think like there's like there's nothing wrong with like putting it on in a hurry if that's where you're at, but like to take some time at least occasionally to really be present and allow yourself to feel those nice feelings, like I don't think like our society is it's awful. And I'll just say it's awful. Like we are so like second puritanical things. Like we are not supposed to take these moments of pleasure for ourselves. And especially people who are born into female bodies, or even people who transition into female bodies. I feel like the female body is like, in our society, it's like you don't exist for your pleasure, you exist for other people's pleasure. And so taking back these little moments of pleasure that are not even necessarily sexual but just feel fucking good, like, is such an act of resistance.
Yeah, I agree. That's a cheers for that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's an act of resistance.
Yes.
Yeah. And taking up space, being okay with being bold and taking up space and having a personality and not blending in, you know. I would say that saved my life. When I had my first child many eons ago, like 16 years ago, I went through really rough postpartum depression, and there was this mom who had more kids than me at the time. And she said to me that, you know, even if she didn't get much sleep, she wakes up earlier than everyone else and takes the time to put on her makeup and get dressed, even if she has nowhere to go. And she'll wear heels and do the vacuuming in our house. Like, it doesn't matter. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try that. And I realized like that's what I lost, because my Virgo rising heart just loves to be vain and take care of herself and like show up bougie. So yeah, I realized that was what I was missing. I wasn't doing that for myself anymore, and I've always done that. I've always taken like I do lymphatic massages on my face and neck and arms in the morning, and you know, like the whole 9 yards. And then you know, and I love the lips. I have a thing for lipstick. I'm like a lipstick whore. And perfume. I love perfume. I love to smell.
Love perfume.
Like,
oh my god,
I love perfume. Yes.
have we not talked about perfume
like
yet?
there's so much. And like that to me is magic. Like for me, perfume is like glamour magic. And I love to do my own in the spring. Speaking of Beltane, one of my favorite little ways of incorporating my witchiness is when the first blooms start. Like my favorites are like hyacinth and lily of the valley. And then later the roses will come. But what I love to do is like with a fat, usually I use like a coconut oil, fat of the coconut. And then like I would use these little, you know, those like glass picture frames that's like two-sided glass. And I'll put like the fat on one side. And then I put the flower blossoms on it, and you keep it for the day. And then the next day you pick more, you take off the old one, and you keep doing that until you get the desired smell. And then after you just like heat up some wax and you combine, and then you make your own solid perfume. And it's like, I love it because it keeps the spring is very special to me, because my birthday is like the beginning of spring, beginning of March. So I love to hold that energy of spring, like that fiery, like things are coming from the earth, you know, everything's fucking and having a good time and being fertile, and the plants and the bees and the birds and the humans and everything's going wild. And it's just such an exciting time, and it's such an exciting time of like rebirth, and it's a new year and we're going into a whole new cycle. And I get excited, so I like to encapsulate that into like a smell, because smell to me is like one of the most powerful memory, right?
That is so cool. I never even knew to do that. That's really cool. It's like your own like ritual.
It's like fire in a bottle in a way. Well, it's not in a bottle, it's like a little jar, but it's like keeping that essence of spring with you through the whole year, and reminding you about, like for me, it's like reminds me about having that spark, and like thinking about myself and taking the time to be present with the world around you and in your own body, and like get out of your head. Let's like, you know, give yourself a break from all the life troubles and dramas, and just be present and remember like the world is a big place and we're a part of it. I don't know. It's a really powerful thing for me.
I love that. That's so cool.
And making it yourself is just such an intimate kind of way to interact with, you know, the flowers. I mean, you know, we're animists here. And so it's like, yeah, you're like really interacting with the spirits, you know, when you're doing something hands-on like that. I know, like I mean, I love my essential oils and shit, but there is something to be said. And I think we talked about this on the intro podcast, for like in the old, beginning of our witchcraft journeys when we would get our spices from the kitchen cabinet and like make our own scented oils that way and stuff. And I like a couple of years ago started doing that again. With things that I grew or things that I collected. And it is such a really enjoyable experience. And it's something, I mean, there's something to be said for doing it that way versus like dumping some oils into another oil, and then it's like instant perfume rather than like taking that time. And it's like you're building the magic, like you're building the glamour, that's going to surround you when you wear that. You're building on all of that magical energy as you're creating the perfume. So that is so cool. I love it.
Yeah. It's a great way to connect with the land too. I really love that. I don't take the time to do that. I wish I did. I think that's a great idea though. But I actually I'm really into perfumes. So I'll have a perfume for like a specific season and then I'll like enchant it. And then I'm like I have a perfume like when I need to be a bad bitch, And then I have a perfume when I'm like, okay, I need to be a professional bitch today. Like,
yes, same.
All the bitches.
Yeah,
you got them all lined up.
It's like all my little bitches. And then like, I'm like, okay, today this is what I'm going to do. And so it's like that immediate activator, like when you don't have time to kind of create, and I'll make like a little sigil for it too. And like, same thing with like my makeup and like all of it is sort of enchanted so that I can just like pick it up and use it. And it's like on the go magic kind of thing. But I'm still kind of connecting with it in a more intentional way. I don't know. I do with my clothes too. I'll write like sigils on the inside, and I'm like, this is my bitch business suit. Like,
I love
I need to
that.
enchant some like this is when I go talk to my members of Congress suit.
Yeah, exactly. And like people like me, blue, like
yeah. Here's my enchanted panties.
Yes, totally though.
It's pure glamour.
Yeah. Actually, Julia, that makes me laugh because it's like I definitely like choose underwear based on that too. Like these are my bad bitch underwear. These are my, like
I do that matching my underwear and my socks sometimes. If I'm wearing socks, I will like correlate them together and like it's making like this connection or something of energy that I'm like, I am connected with these colors.
Oh,
I like
that. I love it.
Love it.
And sometimes if I have
well, now I know what color underwear you're wearing.
right, yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I'll like if I have like a roll on, like I'll dab like parts of the inside too and just like carry that with me. Or I'll like I like working with the chakras and stuff, so I'll like dab those certain points on me if I need it for the day. If, like I need something with my heart or I need to speak up a little bit that day or, things like that too. And just the like using the senses, like the smell of it will remind me of like, oh yeah, I have that today.
I like that. I think a lot of the pleasure is tied to all the senses, like the visuals, the feelings, the smells, the taste. And sometimes that's the easiest way for us to kind of connect when we're like kind of in the mundane and it kind of feels like we're kind of separated, even though we're not. But it's like those are the little things that are like, we'll turn our brain on and be like, okay, you're good. We got this. Your throat chakra is activated. Like,
Right?
You can talk. You're not going to say something you're not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's something that's nice about Beltane too, is it like incorporates all of the senses. There's like the silk, with the material, and the drumming, then there's like the honey and the mead, the flowers, it's like literally all of the like correspondences that like naturally just, stereotypically go with it are all like all of the senses. And I really, really like that about like that springtime season. Just feels so awakening, I guess, in a way.
Mhm.
Oh, awakening is such a good word for that. That's exactly encapsulates this time of year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Beltane's my favorite fire festival. There's just something special about it.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not just because my birthday is near Beltane.
Yeah.
And not just because I was actually a May Queen at a festival.
Oh.
Actually, for 2 years, because let me tell you, we it was the shittiest Beltane. We usually go to this place in like kind of the eastern part of the gorge in between Washington and Oregon State. And usually the weather is pretty good there. It's like kind of on the dry side of the mountains. So, but it was just like pouring rain. It was fine, like during all of our, like when I was crowned and everything. But then it was like when we went into the temple to like go do our business, it was like flooded in there. It was just like so awful. It was so terrible. And then the pandemic happened. And so we couldn't have Beltane the next year. Right. And so everybody was like, oh my gosh, are you going to be able to hold and carry that May Queen energy? And I was just like, yes. And it was
Like
like
it's me.
seriously one of the best 2 year periods in my entire life. Like all the magical shit happened, like everything was coming up May, and I was just like, and it was funny because it's like, I was very much identifying as like gender fluid at the time. And the May Queen that I received the crown from is a trans woman. So it was just like, it could not have been like cooler for me. And yeah, there's something about Beltane that it's like the fairies, it's that transition between spring and summer. It's like, like you said, everything is waking up and it's like really getting going. And it's like, and I really love it. Like it's just such a special time of year for me. And I always feel so like I'm looking forward to like what I'm gonna do in the summertime. Like, even though now I'm an adult and I have to still work, but it's like
Yeah.
it's like I never like left that like teenage me who's like, yeah, it's summer, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna do all these cool things. And yeah, it's like it just feels so full of hope, and not in the same way as like I always feel like Imbolc has a lot of hope too, but it's like a quieter hope. It's like I'm holding on to this so I can get through the last dark days. Whereas like Beltane's hope is like, yes, everything is gonna be fine. It's gonna be just fine. Like, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah. It's very freeing.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
I want to take my clothes off.
I know. I was just gonna say,
Good season
The
for
first
it.
of May,
Well, it's
the first of
cold,
May,
but
outdoor
it's still
fucking
good.
suits today.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
too. That is great.
Does anyone have rituals that they like to do during this time of year?
I have a few that I really like, and of course, dealing with the senses and stuff. Um, I I like, I guess, kind of focusing on feeling very like embodied during the time and um, just feeling safe in myself. So I really like to, I love movement and dancing, and I really like to take the time to almost make it like playful during this time, like just for myself, not like for a show or an event or anything like that. But um, I think that now that I look back at it, that's a lot of the time, obviously around Valentine's or whatever, but that's more for the shows and events. But during this time, I actually really like doing blindfold, like being blindfolded. And whether it's for dancing or just time for me. And if you don't have blindfolds or whatever, you can just close your eyes and everything too. But it feels nice to be like your senses just like amped up to when you're in that moment, and just the flowing and just feeling myself and really standing in myself and really feeling empowered and embodied in everything that I am like facing through the time. So I really like to do that, either the eyes closed or have like a veil or blindfold or something to just let me tap into just feeling everything else at like a heightened level.
Love that.
Yeah, I like the idea of kind of like removing one sense to make the other senses stronger. Like that's really cool. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, I love that. I feel like I I mean, I think all of us do. We're always spending time in nature, but I do feel like for sure, my altar is nature at this point. And
Mm.
I'm like, I'll bring like a thing of flowers and then I'll do like an outdoor altar and just like leave it there and, like as a offering or, I don't know, I try to like connect more, like get chalk and then like draw a little altar or like do something or like, find like something that looks like a bowl and put some water in it. Like, it just feels like I can connect with my inner child that way, like making mud
Mm.
pies,
Mhm.
um, and just I think you kind of mentioned it, Nishita, just like kind of having fun and like not taking it so serious and just getting my hands dirty. And I find
Mm.
it's just so much fun. I feel so much joy around this time.
I also love bird watching too. I love my bird.
Oh yeah, bird watching's
But
great.
just seeing like my dad has a friend who builds like these amazing birdhouses. They're like the coolest and toughest looking birdhouses, and they're so resilient to like Florida weather. But like this is a time where you start seeing like the birds using them, and I'm always like, oh, like I feel so happy to watch them, and all the like the cardinals are out and seeing them together, and um I don't know, I just like to just sit out there like old person and just enjoy all the excitement of all the birds moving around. I really like that too for some reason.
We hear we have a lot of wetlands where I live. And so we always hear like the little spring peepers. And it's like, but about around Beltane, they're not peeping, they're like really making a lot of noise. Like, so it's kind of like we them, but it's also like, okay, we're getting a little tired of your nonsense. we, we want to sleep. But I really enjoy hearing them. It is always like, oh, every year I get really excited. It's like, oh yeah, there they are. So yeah, I love those little signs. And like my yard is like, we have some like raised beds that we use for like growing like veggies and fruit and things, but like the rest of my yard is a little untamed, like I have like kind of these little patches of like wildflowers or this or that. And so it's like, it's always kind of fun to see like what comes up every year. Like, what are we getting this
Yes.
year? What's coming back?
Yes.
And just kind of interacting with that. And I have this tree stump, and it's like an old Douglas fir tree stump in my front yard. And that's kind of like my makeshift altar. Like I have like my second spouse, like she had a son who was pretty young when we were together, and he loved rocks like I do. So like we would go get like, the little bags of like tumbled like jaspers or whatever. And there's still rocks out there that he had left like on that stump. And I just kind of rearranged them and like maybe put like little, like flowers and stuff on there. And little offerings for our land spirits. And that's something that's really important to like both my partner and I now. It's like just having that relationship with the land and our home, and just the bigger spirits too that live here. I mean, I live along the Columbia River, so I mean that's a big presence. I live near Mount St. Helens, that's a big presence. I live near Mount Hood, that's a big presence. So it's like it's really so easy for me to be in touch with those spirits and those, like, I call them my people or my friends, like I'm like, oh, there's my friend. Oh, my friend in Mount Hood is looking good. My friend is looking good, today. Or and I think, like, I don't know about you all, but I mean, like, I was raised by people who cared about nature. Like my family, most of my family came here on the Oregon Trail, and so we've lived here for generations now. But it's like, it's really interesting to me that other people haven't grown up that way, I mean, and I get it, like if you live in an urban area or maybe like nature around you isn't so nice, so I understand like cognitively, but I'm just so thankful that that wasn't the case for me, that I was raised with like this idea of connecting with the land spirits. And like around Beltane, I feel like they're really waking up. It's so hard to ignore them.
Right.
I love that too. Like one of my favorite things to do this time of year is welcome all the plants that are waking up. So, oh, I just love it. Like my daughter and I do this. Like we go and there's like you see the tree, like the huckleberry bushes, and all the little leaves are starting, like they're starting to open up from their buds. You're like, welcome from your sleep, And we go around, or like we're seeing the sap come out. And one of my favorite things that I do is whenever, very similar to you, mate, when see who's volunteering in your yard this year, or who's volunteering on the block, like near your neighborhood, who's the plant that's coming up as new. So I kind of like to do this divination thing, whatever plant that's very prevalent and new in the area is what we need. So let's say like some years, all of a sudden St. John's wort, like St. John's wort, but I call St. John's wort, starts growing up everywhere. I'm like, oh, we're needing some like, some like loving sunshine energy, some happiness, antiviral, nerve, like for like relaxing our nerves and our muscles, like that kind of stuff, or if you had like self-heal, or maybe, so like depending what's growing, I feel like it's something the world or like your neighborhood or the world needs right now. Like it's kind of like my little plant divination.
That's so
And
cool.
yeah, this like I like doing that. And I always say, well, welcome. You're new to the neighborhood, or oh, you haven't been here for a while. Well, hey, it's nice to see you again. So whoever pops up, it's always fun. And sometimes it's California poppy. All of a sudden, like I have all these California poppies. I'm like, hey. So I enjoy doing that, like just saying hi to all the plants. And we like to do, my daughter and I like to make, like little stones, like put the little pretty stones in a circle, and kind of we call it like a little fairy offering, like we put milk and honey out for them, and we do like little, little arrangements, and just oh, there's another thing I love to do during this. It's a kind of a ritual I have right on the 21st of March. Uh, I like to collect the dew from the plants and just splash it on my face. And it's kind of like the refreshing, like water, kind of renewal and cleansing and starting the new year. It's kind of another one of the traditions. I don't know. I really like this time of year, guys. I'm telling you. It's like, and I don't make so much fuss for the rest of the year, but this time I have a lot of little traditions, and I don't know. I really like it. And I just love to just kind of remember that we're like, I'm a part of all of this. I'm not separate as a human being. I'm not separate. I'm part of it. And like, getting to know my, like my relatives, I call them my relatives. Like we're all connected. We all symbiotically live together, and we all need each other. Honestly, we all have, I think it's important that we all try to connect. And then May, when you were saying about urban, I've lived in urban settings, and I think there's a lot of plants that people can see. Like I think they're like the badass plants of the world, like these weeds that grow through the cracks of the concrete and the asphalt. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to love watching like, oh, who's coming up this time, and seeing how, the natural world grows around all these man-made things. And I think it's so cool.
It really is. It really is. And I think like it's something I've thought about for quite a number of years now. I've had this idea of doing like a workshop that like kind of trains people to connect with nature, like even when they think they can't, because I think we tend to think about hiking or think about going to the coast or thinking about this or thinking about that, instead of just like paying attention to the nature that's already there, like where you are. And like you were saying about the badassery, like urban plants do not fuck around.
No.
They don't. Like, I mean, when you need a baddie on your side, it's like dandelion, it's like plantain, it's
yes.
What's that one? I forget what it's called. It like does the little like it spreads out and it has like the little round leaves. I forget what it's called, but like that thing grows everywhere in the cracks in the concrete. And moss, and like, I mean, moss will grow anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many like spells to incorporate it for the home too with moss and everything.
Mhm.
It's so cool.
Mhm.
Like nature is so cool. It sounds so like nerdy, but it is so cool.
And we are nature.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's the
Exactly.
awesome part of it all. It's like we don't need to be, we're not separate. Like we are that. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's good. And this is
Yes.
why,
Absolutely.
this is what I love about this time of year. For me, it's like reminding myself, hey, bitch, get back down to the soil and remember that you are not better or you're not removed, you're connected. And you know how you interact is going to impact it and it will impact you. And you know, like, so I just think it's such a good way to bring yourself back home, I guess, you know, in
Mhm.
the sense, like, you know, because we're up in our, like, at least for me, I
Yeah.
get up in my head a lot. So it's good to come back down.
Also the perfect time to start a garden, like a favorite
Yeah.
thing to do. I'm like, yes, I get to get my hands dirty. And that's one of my, we're about to plan for our outdoor, but it's like one of my favorite things to do is like, okay, what do I have? And like, what do I need? And like, and it's kind of like what you do, Julia, too, where it's like, okay, who wants to join? Like having a relationship, having that ritual of getting to like watch something grow and like nurture it is like so
Mm,
special. I like it is an emotion I can't even describe how happy it makes me. It's like Queen of Pentacles. Just it's wonderful. Makes me so
yeah.
happy.
Lush and mm,
Yeah.
So do you bring that energy to yourself?
Do I what?
Like that nurturing? Do you bring that energy to yourself, that nurturing, that like watching yourself grow?
It is a
Not
challenge.
just directed at you, Veronica, but
I try. I very much try. I do think that it is around the springtime where I'm much more intentional to take care of my body. I'm like, I'm gonna eat right, I'm gonna go work out, like, I really dedicate time to taking care of me. So I think that that is the way that I nurture myself. I think that the sensuality is something that I have to work on more. Like the working out and all of that, taking care of myself, that's super easy. But the sensuality part is harder because I have to feel safe in my body in order to
Mhm.
experience pleasure. And sometimes I don't feel safe in my body. And I kind of have to like work through that first. And there are different reasons, sometimes it's like, oh, well, I might have eaten too much over the winter time, or it could also just be that like, we were talking a little bit about like repression, and like sometimes I fall into these states of like self-repression in how I express myself. And so it's like I have to kind of get over those humps first and kind of nurture those parts of me that maybe come from like shadowy territory. And then once I can, it's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So yeah, it's a complicated question.
It is.
it
It
is.
is for me too. Like I dissociate a lot. Like I mean, I think Julie said it too. It's like I just can get in my head so easily and forget I even have a body. Like
Yeah. Mhm.
sometimes I feel like I have to set an alarm to remind myself to eat. And I love food. Like I love to eat. Like it's not
And you
even,
forget?
it's just more like, oh shit, I have needs. Like I have things
Yeah.
I need to take care of.
I forget to eat.
Um,
Me too. I did today.
right? It's so
God.
crazy. And then like I've also like noticed that like in my years lifting, like they talk about, like connecting with the muscle, like in your mind, like having, like this thought really focusing on the muscle and like what it's doing. And so it's like really good to learn anatomy if you're into bodybuilding, which really helped me when I went to massage school because I was like, oh, I know these muscles because I was like a bodybuilder. But like I love really like getting into the feeling when I work
Mm.
out.
Mhm.
um
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like feeling the muscles contract or stretch
Mhm.
or feeling, and I talk to myself too. I never noticed, I think I answered a question on some blue sky thing, like in the witch sky feed or something. It was like how do you do spells, or what do you do this? And I was like, I talk to everything. Like I talk to my muscles. I'm like, okay, biceps, we're doing bicep curls. We're going to get big. And I don't even realize I'm doing it. You know what I mean? But it's like, I really make that connection. And it's like, I have to also remember to feel and not just talk. But yeah.
Oh, good. My therapist was.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say my therapist actually said I need to start talking to my body.
Yeah.
Like, have a conversation with your body. And I was like, yeah, that's a great way to acknowledge it. I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
I was actually going to ask, like, have any of you ever like spoken to yourself or like, I haven't done this a lot, but I found when I have done it, like, I'm like, oh, that felt really nice, is like just breathe on my body, like on my hand or my arm, or like just feel my own breath work, like I'm whispering to myself or something, and just feeling that at the moment. Sometimes because you can write journal and write things like that, but sometimes like just saying it onto my own self seems really like comforting to me sometimes.
Yeah. It's like you're experiencing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I like yoga so much. What you were saying, May, of like feeling the muscles contract, and like in your mind, you're like, holy shit, this hurts, or like, oh, this feels so good, or like, oh, like what, like all of the emotions and like the senses, are just so special. And I really particularly like yoga because it's really just about the breath. What you were saying, Ishita, where it's like having this awareness that I'm alive. I'm alive. This is real. Like, it's just really special to me. And I think it's the one fitness routine, one of the few. I think dance is this way too, but I do feel like yoga it really gets me into my body, and I'm like, oh yeah, I exist.
Mhm.
I matter. I literally matter.
Yeah,
Like, it's really special.
yeah, that is so true. I feel that way with pole too. Like we used to have a saying like thick thighs save lives because like the grip on the pole. And there's so many like knowing every single part of a trick and all of your like grip points and connection points is like so important because that the way you enter, you can also exit. And so it's like you're doing this like what looks like gravity defying stuff, but it's your body that's doing it. So like you're capable of doing it, and the way you feel is like amplified because you'll bruise a lot at first when you start, and then your body starts to get used to it. But you really have to rely on feeling where your grip points are to know if you're gonna stay safe with your own self. It's kind of it's like it's cool and it can be, fitness, it can be sensual, it can be all of that, but really you have to rely on yourself to be able to do it safely when you start getting into the tricks part of it. So I really like that aspect of it too. And I didn't even really think of it that way until you just said all that, Veronica, about yoga. I was like, oh, sure, yeah, that's right. I really have to rely on myself in order to do this properly.
Yeah, it's like sounds really intuitive.
It
Um,
is. It really.
can we just like talk about how hardcore pole is though? Like,
It is. It's
It's totally
amazing.
badass.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
It's really
it is
badass.
so
So impressive.
impressive.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I think it's
It is.
amazing.
I love
I
it.
want to do it one day.
Me too. I think I'm gonna hurt myself.
I know, right? I was
No.
just thinking, like, where can I set up a pole in my house? Because, like, seriously, I mean, it just all of the, not only all of like the core strength and like the upper body strength and everything that you need, but like just sticking to it, through the bruising, through all of that stuff. Like, and
Yeah.
then on top of it, like, I just feel like there's a lot of things in fitness or in, expression, bodily expression that require mindfulness, but there's a lot too that you can kind of escape in. And it really seems like pole is one of those things where it's like you have to be very, very present. And honestly, like it's something that just clicked I was listening to you all talk, is that I feel like sensuality, I don't know, like I think about sometimes like when I'm having sex, right? And maybe this is TMI, but it's Beltane Witches, so it's coming.
Oh, good.
No pun intended. But it's like, it's so easy to like, in the moment slip into your fantasy in your head and not be like where you are with your partner. Does that make sense? And I just feel like
100%.
that's some years ago I took like a kind of intro tantra class, and it was like those things that were like you have to like look into your partner's eyes, or you have to be very present, like just like terrified me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's so important to sensuality is being present.
Yeah. I love to think about the body part that's getting attention.
Yes.
And I find when you do that, it like amplifies the pleasure like 1,000 times fold versus just being. It's really interesting, isn't it? Like if you're just there in the moment or you're fantasizing, you don't feel it as much as if you focus in on the spot that's being focused on. Do you know what I mean? So like whenever that happens, I always find like billion times more intense. Like I swear, there's all this talk about, oh, when you get older, we do it, whatever. Like, and that could be true for a lot of people. I'm not going to judge. I'm not everyone. But for me, it was the opposite because a lot of like religious conditioning and things growing up made me very prudish and like really disconnected from my body. And
people talking about people disconnected from the body, I actually didn't know what that meant. I'm like, how can you be disconnected from your body? You're in your body. But until I learned what it meant to be present in your body, I didn't realize. And when I found that moment, and that was literally, I'm not kidding you guys, that was only like when I was 37, I'm 44. So like it was very recent. It's not, okay, not that recent, but I was a lot older when I figured that out. And every year I get older, like sensuality is much more easier for me. And I'm learning like because I'm connecting to my body. And even like, like this might sound kind of crazy, but one of the things I love to do, and this is like a ritual thing that I try to do, once a week. I have a busy life. I have a lot of kids and like work and stuff. So I purposely make a schedule of mom's bath time, and it's like I'm blocking off an hour, no one bother me. I'm going to a bath. And often I do this after everyone's asleep anyway, so it's okay. And I do the whole 9 yards, like candles and scented oils and music and reading a book, and I'll have some plate of chocolates and like the whole thing, and it just I let myself feel everything. Like I can taste it, I can smell, I can feel like the massages in my head because my hands and feet get brutalized every day. So like trying to work out the kinks and just like letting myself and hearing the music and like getting into the music, like pick music that really like puts you there. And I also, when I get in the bath, like feeling the hot water on my skin and like letting myself and like get the tingles. It's so weird how if you just go in the bath, oh, it's hot water, versus if you go in the bath and you recognize like each connection point as you sink in and feeling that hot water and being aware of your skin being enveloped in that hot water. I don't know, there's something about directing your attention to parts of yourself. And I use this for pain management a lot because I have a lot of chronic conditions. So if there's pain somewhere, I focus on that spot and I breathe into it. And then I breathe out and I imagine the pain is leaving me with the exhale. And I keep doing, and it really works. Like not 100, but like, it brings the pain level from 9 to like 5 or 4. But I just find that there really is a lot of power in being present in the body and feeling it, like really feeling it. And that's why I like doing the bath thing, because it's like my little reminder every week of, yeah, you live in this thing, you live in this flesh body, that you need to be aware of. And, I just think that I don't know, I think that plays into sensuality on so many levels, like whether it's creativity or like, sexuality or being comfortable in your body, feeling safe. Like I find when you embrace and being present in your body, you're learning to be safer in it and to feel it. Isn't that crazy how we've been like trained to not feel anything? Like having pleasure is like like at least for me, feeling pleasure was the sin
Yeah,
as a female, if you're
Very
born female. Like
simple. I think it's also a
you're not
defense
supposed.
mechanism because, like, I feel like there were a lot of experiences that I've had where, like, I didn't want to experience that, so I just kind of like retreat, you
Yeah.
know, from like trauma and stuff. So I think that's kind of what I was alluding to with like feeling safe in the body is like, am I am I safe to do this right now? And
Yeah.
and it's like you said, Julia, it kind of goes back to like religious repression. Um, because there's actually this is a really embarrassing, funny story, but I feel like it'll be healing if I share it. But I remember being like a teenager girl, and I was like listening to this sexy song in my room, and I was like doing like a pretend striptease show, and my mom walked in on me. Yeah. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And she like shamed me for it. And yeah, and so I feel like those experiences, just make you feel like you can't do those things. And for me, like I this sounds so vapid, but like I have to feel sexy in order for me to like, you know, have a lady boner essentially. Like
Mhm.
I have to feel confident in myself, and that a lot of that starts with taking care of my body, which is like feeding it good food, treating it right and paying attention to it. And that can be really difficult sometimes, especially when you work from home.
right.
You just don't have your PJs all day. So
Hard to get a boner when you're like in your joggers all day and you're like
Right.
I'm wearing my frumpy work sweater right now actually because it's cozy.
it does look
You
cozy.
can like, slide and play your like fly girl fantasies,
Ooh. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
you just need to teach us how to make it sexy.
I'm pretty sure you can make it sexy. Even like the baggy joggers, whatever. What's under there? Who knows?
Yes. No, I actually like joggers. I like they can be very sexy, absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
they
Yeah,
can
I
be.
love like dancing in like a masculine energy too, like very like Magic Mike floor
Hmm.
reverse humping on the floor kind of thing. Like, and
Yes.
something about it is so like, yeah,
It's
Mhm.
fun.
it
Very
is.
empowering.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was something you were saying earlier, Initiated, that kind of unlocked something for me. And like it made me remember like being a kid. So when you were talking about breathing on yourself, like I was thinking about when I was a kid, I was very into like sensual experiences, like of all kinds, right? And so I would do things like that, or like my friends and I would do like the little like games that you do where you like pick at your like
Yeah.
each other's skin. It's like ASMR, but we didn't know what that was back then. But you know what I mean? It was just like so you do all those like little things that give you like the shivers up your back. And
Mhm.
I just think like how as kids we're just exploring everything and we're exploring all of those feelings and like how our bodies work and like and just in ways that like and it's not sexual, it's just like I'm experiencing my body, like how does my
Yeah.
Mhm.
body feel when I do XYZ. And like I think that's something that we kind of forget to do as we get older because
Mhm.
we think we know our bodies and then our
Yeah.
bodies change too,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of like, oh, what do I like today, or what do I like now, or is there something new I can try? And we're just like you said, just being aware of like experiencing my body and like what do I feel like and connecting, like that breath that is life and like feeling that aliveness on your own skin, like just is something that is so cool. And I do remember doing things like that as a kid. And just like the same thing like with dancing and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's so funny because I love to dance and I just like randomly dance. And but there are times when it's like I feel like I don't want to be seen. when I'm dancing. So it's like even if I'm alone in my room, it's like it's like there's some invisible watcher and I feel really
Yes.
self-conscious. Right? Is it okay? So it's not just me. And I'm just like, why do I feel this way? So there I started reading Devin Hunter's Witches Book of Power, and there's a ritual in there. It's like one of the first ones that you do, and it's like you're supposed to dance and feel like connected to like your lower serpent or whatever. I don't remember the exact terminology. Sorry, Devin, if you ever listen to this. But it's like I was reading that and I was like, oh, I can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
which is so weird because I dance on my altar all the time. Like, I'm like, why do I feel like I can't do this? Like, what is up with that? And I think like maybe that's why it's like one of the first things that you have to do. It's like it's because it is empowering to be like, yeah, I'm just dancing free and like feeling my body and feeling how my body responds and like just things like that I think I don't know if it's society or what. I don't know. I wasn't raised in a very religious household, but I just feel like society in general is like very anti those things, you know, like
Yeah.
100%.
feeling your own body and feeling just empowered in your own body and feeling safe in your own body. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm a dissociating motherfucker, like seriously. And I have to sometimes remind myself, like, you are safe right now. You are with somebody who loves you, or you're, you know, like by yourself, and like everything is cool. You know what I mean? Like, and it is really fucking hard sometimes to like remind yourself because your brain is just like, for whatever reason, manufacturing trauma, even, you know, like it's bizarre. And again, I'm going to go back to like experiencing sensuality and pleasure is resistance. It's like taking that piece back for yourself, right?
You all think that people get triggered seeing others dance because it's inherently feminine? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
In the sense of like, it's this sort of whimsy, I don't know, like I just feel like it is so freeing, like you said, May. And
it's also vulnerability too, right?
yeah, like there's a vulnerability factor there to it. And I don't know, I wonder, like I remember there was this trend on TikTok and it was like frolicking in the meadow and then just like recording yourself like and it was just really cool to see, but like it was just also like why are we having to do this, like and it's because it's uncomfortable for people. Maybe does it go back to like pleasure and joy, and I don't know, I just think it's really interesting.
But yeah, like you said, it's like something about like the frivolity of it, right? Like that is a frivolous thing to do. Like there is no like, it does not serve capitalism to go frolic in a meadow, right? And so it's fucking subversive. Pleasure is so fucking subversive, right? Like to be like, I'm not producing anything by doing this. I'm just enjoying my fucking life. You know, like take that and take that.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, that's so true. And
probably don't know what to do with those fingers.
What's that?
They probably don't know what to do with those fingers either.
Right? I know. It's like, what is happening here? Yeah. And I do think like really there is that like devaluing the feminine, right? Because it's like, how many times are women labeled like, oh, you're so frivolous, oh, you're so this, you're so that. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm enjoying my life, right? I'm sorry that I'm putting on makeup. I'm sorry that I'm, you know, whatever. I'm not sorry. Like, I'm tired of fucking being sorry. And honestly, like, that is actually like with my whole gender journey, like something that I really was trying to come to terms with. I'm like, is this like just an expression of internalized misogyny? You know? And then when I started thinking, like, realizing that I didn't have to give up my feminine side to be masculine. Like I can lean into it even harder if I want to, like, because who cares? It's all made up anyway, right? Like gender is completely fucking made up. And you know what's masculine and what's feminine change all the time, depending on culture, depending on, you know, just the era. And so I think like it was very freeing to kind of realize that. that I could still love and express those parts of myself. I didn't have to like suddenly like just become straight laced. I could wear my grandma sweaters and I could, like dance and I could sing and I could wear makeup and I could do all those things and still think of myself as masculine. And I recognize that other people are probably always going to see me as feminine, and that's just the way it is. And I'm okay with that to some degree, but it's like how, like, reclaiming how I see myself um, is so important. Like, to be able to self define is so important. And I think that's important for all of us, like, not even in just in aspects of gender, but it's like, oh, you want to identify as a goblin, like you want to be like the goblin person, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I kind of skew goblin too, to be honest, because I mean, like, that's a whole cozy, like, sensual aesthetic in itself. Like, maybe it's not what we think of as like sexy, but it's sensual as shit. It's like, I'm gonna put like cozy clothes on, I'm gonna surround myself with moss and my books, and drink my fucking tea, and like, everybody leave me the hell alone while I hang out with some mushrooms over here. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I love the goblin aesthetic thing, like,
Goblin's so good.
right? It's so good. And it's like, but then I can also be glamour next day if I want to, because who cares? Because it's my life, right? And it's funny because, like, in school, in high school, I was very much like, I was kind of a chameleon that way, like, I was goth one day, I was like grunge, because it was the early 90s, so grunge was very, and I lived, in the Northwest, so grunge was very, very much a thing. I listened to all the kinds of music, really, and like, I dressed how I fucking wanted to dress. Like, one day I would dress like kind of hippie, one day I would dress kind of skater. My boyfriend was a skater in high school, so I'd borrow his clothes all the time. I loved dressing in his clothes, like, I loved it. And so, like, yeah, I would always steal his clothes and dress that way. And then the next day I would come all goth out, with my hair. I always had like long hair back then, and it's kind of curly. So I would have like the, bun, the messy kind of bun with like the ringlets, you know what I mean? And like, just do all that. And I mean, just that self-expression is so important. And I think, honestly, like, that's, I think, one reason. I mean, and it's funny because it's like, I love like the whole drag vibe, but I'm not a super drag fan. Like, I don't go to a lot of drag shows or whatever, even though we have a ton here in Portland, but I do enjoy them. But it's funny because it's like, I think it's such a vibe right now because it is so freeing. It's like, I think people see people in drag, people of all genders in drag, and think like, holy crap, like, that is out of this fucking world. How can I be like that? Like, I want to be like that. But they don't take that time. They don't take the time to like arch their eyebrows, or to like, put on like some blue lipstick, or, whatever they want to do. Right. Like, it's like, just go get some like wild, what is it? Wet and Wild. Yeah. Just go get yourself like a $2 tube of Wet and Wild purple lipstick and live your life, girl. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's so empowering. And one of the when I first started pole, actually my mom and my stepdad bought me my first pole. It was a Carmen Electra pole. Because I really wanted to get into it, and at the time there was like no pole studios around. And then shortly after I started, like a year or two, there was one in Tampa that opened up, and I eventually started teaching there too. But I remember that feeling of like being so scared of being judged and everything, and like, oh no, everyone's gonna think, this or that or whatever. And at the time, it was a valid feeling. But then once I got through it, I was just like, who cares? Like, there was like a whole movement of like being a pole fitness person versus being a stripper kind of,
oh yeah.
and it was just such a taboo thing. So everyone thought that that's what you were doing. And in my head, I was like, and if I was, so what? Like, it's very empowering. And so when you start being able to embrace doing that thing, like you said, put on that purple lipstick, do what you want, then there's this very like light and dark aspect, because after becoming an instructor and teaching like pole parties, every single person that comes into a pole party wants to live their stripper dream of just letting loose and enticing and all of that. And that was like the number one thing. And then once the students would get like really comfortable with it, then they would realize they were comfortable and then like retreat almost. Like they would make some kind of comment of, oh, now I can, if anything happens to my job, I can make more money. And it was just like this way to like justify it. But then every once in a while, we'd have someone come back and start taking classes, and then they'd really embrace that. And I always saw it as that light and dark because there's that light aspect. We have to be, proper women and all that stuff, but you want to venture into that dark aspect and have part of that too. But there's a lot of us that it feels like we can't do both. And when we start doing that, that's when you start feeling like I can do that. And I'm powerful doing that. And I can do both. I can go in both worlds and do it. And
Yeah.
super powerful. I remember I used to have people when in like 2011, 2012, there was talk of pole being the Olympics. And it's still a debate going on now, but it was like a big thing that everyone in the pole world was trying to push. And I used to have so many friends that would be like, well, if you only didn't wear high heels, people would respect you better. Like, why do you wear the heels and the platforms? And I'm like, well, one, it sticks easier to the pole. Two, it makes my legs look super long. And three, I like it. It feels good and it makes me feel good. And that's like the biggest reason. There was all these things to like justify being happy and being in that pleasure in that moment for something that at the time seemed so taboo. And same thing I think with drag and so many different like forms of art and embodiment in the world. And I think when I had that like moment of realizing that like light and dark magical aspect of it, I was like, it almost gave me like a superpower or something in a way. I felt like.
Do you think that people are afraid to give in to that? Like when they start feeling that empowered or they start feeling like, I feel really fucking sexy right now. And do you think they get scared of that?
Oh yeah, for
Because I
sure.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think
And
people are afraid like that's going to become their whole personality or something.
yes.
Like, if they give into a little bit, then they're going to fall all the way. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I think that's so interesting. I think that's very true about power in general.
Yeah.
Like you get a little taste of it and then
true.
you're like, oh shit.
It's scary.
Yeah. It's scary on so many levels because it's like, oh my God, I always think about this. If I have power, I have responsibility.
Yes.
There you go.
Like I have to be like, I have to own my shit. If I have power, that means I have to own my shit. I have to be like, I can get out of this mess, or I got myself into this mess, or yeah, I think that's one thing. And then like, I think we were talking about this in Witches of the Dirt Road about how like I worry that I will be unlikable if I embrace my power, or if I lean into like these things that I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to, I don't know, put more piercings in my face. Like then I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna have a face full of piercings? I mean, I don't know. It's just like weird how you think like I'm gonna go all the way down that path just because I want a little taste of it, or whatever.
Yeah. I definitely related to what you said, Maeve. Like, am I still gonna be palatable? Like
Palatable is a good word, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like because I've talked about this in the last episode, is like this unknown fear of being seen, and like I am very fiery, and sometimes I feel like I either annoy people or like bug people, or like it's always like I'm always thinking of the other person, and I'm like, well, it's probably better for me to just like be in the background, not take up too much space. But like I see like women and people just, especially drag queens, just fucking living their life and burlesque dancers. And I'm just like, I want that so bad. Like that is like my biggest desire is to be a performing artist. And like just for the sake of that, it just brings me pleasure.
Mhm.
You know, be it pole, burlesque, drag, whatever. Because even like, you know, when I dress up in drag, when I'm like dressing like a man, which I do quite often because it's fun. I dressed up as Edgar Allan Poe for my birthday because I was like, fuck you. He has the same birthday as me and
That was amazing.
awesome.
It was amazing. I loved it.
It
It was
was.
really good.
I was like, fuck y'all. I'm gonna dress like a fucking potato. That's Edgar Allan Poe at a potato party.
That was so awesome.
Yeah, and it's so much easier for me to dress like a man though. Like that's so easy. But like when I'm like wanting to lean into the sexy and the sexual, it's like it really I have to be in the right setting to feel fully comfortable. And I remember one year for Halloween, we went to this soiree and I felt like, you know, when you just feel so sexy and you're like, this is perfect. I feel comfortable. And then I was just like, really, I felt so good in my body. And then this girl came up to me and she was like, you look amazing. And then it was just like, I went, I
Yeah.
shrunk and I was like, thanks. And it like made me, even though she complimented me, it made me feel so like I didn't want to be seen anymore.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's weird, like that being perceived makes you feel like you're a target. I guess. Like
Yeah.
that's how I feel anyway. Like, and it's funny too, because I'm the same way. Like I was a major theater nerd in school, in high school,
Mm.
and I miss that life, you know, like I do. I miss it. I loved it so much. And um, but there is that thing where you're like, oh my God, people will be jealous of me. People
Mhm.
will, you know, talk shit about me. And it's like,
Think I'm too much.
cognitively, I know they're doing that anyway. Somebody is.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? Somebody is talking shit about me right now. Like somebody is
Yeah.
like that fucking May. Who do they think they are? You know what I mean? Like I just know it. And I mean, and that's not to come from like a place of like, I don't know, like everything, like the world revolves around me. But it's like, you know, there's always going to be, my point is there's always going to be somebody that doesn't like you. And it's just really hard to like, because I do want to be liked. We all want to be liked. Well, maybe not all of us, but like most people want to be liked and belong. I mean, it's part of our, you know, our encoding, right? Like because there's safety
Survival
in
instinct.
numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like standing out, evolutionarily speaking, standing out makes you like a target and makes you vulnerable. And, you know, where do we go from there? Right.
Mhm.
I definitely like I feel like there's a lot with capitalism, you know, but or just the idea of like just control in general. It's so much easier to control people if you restrict them because
Mhm.
they're miserable and they're easier to scare. They don't have their own power. It's easier to manipulate people to do what you want, easier to get them to shop. Like nothing wrong with shopping, but when it's like self-soothing,
Mhm.
mindless, and you don't even know what you have, and you have like a bunch of things with the price tag still on in the home, like that's when it's a problem, right? And yeah, well, like, and it's a symptom a lot of us are dealing with, and you'd be surprised how like so. I would say that I'm someone that tends to go on the I don't give a shit what people think
Mhm.
category. Uh, but it's weird because there's certain things where I do give a crap. I don't care if I look different or I'm perceived as different. Like that doesn't bother me. I actually kind of like it. It gives me a lot of power when someone's like, "Oh, she's so weird." I'm like, "Yeah." I don't mind, but then there's certain things where if someone writes my narrative for me, I have issues with.
Mm.
Like
Fair.
who I am and how
Mhm.
I think about things or how I feel about a topic or how I feel about a person. If someone puts a narrative on me, that's where I get really like icky on. Like I don't want people to like I come out and like, oh, you're like this, so therefore you think like this. It's the mind that hurts me. It's not my appearance. You could say all you want about the way I look. I couldn't care less. But you start saying how I think, that's where I personally take it very seriously. I have a hard time with that. I don't want people to think either I'm like uneducated or you know, ignorant to sort some, or like even just like I feel a certain way towards a certain thing. Like, oh, if you dress like this, then probably you wouldn't like someone who's more like topless, or
Mhm.
you wouldn't like someone who's more expressive, where it's actually the opposite. I love to be surrounded by people who express themselves. It's just maybe the way, like, I tend to dress like a guy in a suit because I like that. I
Mhm.
mean, if I can say like who my role model is in dressing, I would say like Kate Blanchett, like her
Mhm.
vibe. I
Mhm.
love. It's like very masculine but sexy,
Mhm.
and I like that. Like that's how I like to go about it as in the world, and but except make it goth. Like that's kind of more me.
Yeah. Mhm. Right.
But so, and actually I am quite a masculine person. I'm very masculine. I wanted to be a man for a very long time, since I was really little. Like as soon as I heard the concept of female male, I wanted to not be a female. I remember being like, well, I don't want to be that category. I don't
Mhm.
want to play with the dolls. I want to play with the blocks and the cars. Like, can't I be the boy? Like, I don't want to do skip rope. I want to do wrestling. Like, why can't I do that? So like I had a lot of issues with that. And I don't know, at some point in my life, I think it was when I had my first child, I was like, yeah, I'm okay with being a girl, but I'm just going to be I'm just very masculine in many ways. Like even my body, like I get muscles so easily. I think it's just I have more male hormone, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've always been that way. And I'm definitely like the dominant type in the bed, you could say. Like, you know, it's just my personality. I'm more like, I'm just very, I don't have issues like going forward, doing things.
Mhm.
You know, but I do appreciate the feminine, and I try to bring that into my life more. And I think oh, actually, yeah, I do. Intuition's a big, and I think there's a lot of about into feminine
Mhm.
that people forget about, right? Like they just think it's dresses and bows and
Right.
makeup, but there's like intuition,
Intuition.
right?
Mhm.
Connection, nurture, like, you know,
Mhm.
there's so many elements. It doesn't even have to do anything with gender, honestly. Like masculine, well, for
Agree.
me, I don't see gender in these aspects. It's a part
Mhm.
of all of us, and it's almost like it's a balance. Like where are you? Do you go this way more, that way? Are you in the middle? And it changes, right? Like over the years, you can sway more over the day. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's there's a lot to do with control, and if you let people be in their power, express themselves, they'll be powerful beings, and then it's really hard to scare them into things. It's hard to persuade people when they're in their power. And I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's like people at the very top want good workers. They want people to produce and make money for them. They don't want people that are independent and self-sufficient. And especially, it's easier to control people when you have them all split up and judging each other. Whereas if you got everyone like supporting each other and be like, yeah, bitch, like you look good. And like, yeah, you know, express yourself, dudes, cry, girls, do this, whatever, everyone in between, whatever, however you are, like just, you know, like do what you need to do. And I think it's so beautiful when people support each other. Like I think when someone walks in the room and you're like, yeah, you look great in whatever form that is,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, and or don't even talk about how someone looks sometimes. Like
Mhm.
also talk like, hey, you know, you walked into a room and you just got this good energy. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you made my day. Like just
Mhm.
seeing you made my day. Like you just have such a good energy. Like that's, we don't do that enough. Don't you feel like we don't just acknowledge other people's energy, or just acknowledge like you're happy to see someone?
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be how they look. I don't know. Like there's so much in that.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah. Well, sorry, Nishita, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say that's really beautiful. Like Julia, you're like coming out with the wisdom that
Right?
I'm like,
Absolutely.
yes, preach, Julia.
I know,
All
right?
that, all that
100%.
alone.
That extra year around the sun did it.
Right. A little blip in the solar return.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite compliments I've ever gotten was that I made somebody feel safe to be who they were.
Oof.
Oh,
That's good.
Right.
yes.
And on that note, like this is something that blew my mind a little bit. And it was I know shit, it was like 25 years ago. Like this woman I worked with invited me to her church. She had like one of those, she went to like a Unitarian church. And it wasn't like the church service. It was actually like they had this guy speaking, and it was like before like the prosperity like mindset thing kind of took off, you know. So it was before like the Hicks became um popular and all of that stuff. But he came and he gave a talk about that kind of thing. And one of the things that he said that really blew my mind, and I still struggle with today, and it really stuck with me, even though like I'm not this manifesty, you know, like I'm just not like into the prosperity gospel kind of vibe. But there are parts of it that I think make sense. And this made sense to me, where it was like, what do you do when somebody gives you a compliment?
Yeah. That's
Right.
a big one.
And it's like, if you are turning that away, you're turning away abundance. You're not allowing yourself to receive.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it really blew my mind. And so he was like, just try saying thank you. Like, don't feel like you have to explain away, oh, this thing, I got it at the thrift store, or oh, you look good too, or you know what I mean, like you know, or oh, you know, so kind of you to say so, but I just woke up like this, or whatever, you know. And it's just like, just say thank you, just say thank you. And like I said, like it's not like the whole prosperity manifesty, you know, secret kind of stuff is not my vibe at all. Like I really have tried to work on gratitude, and allowing myself to receive. And I think that is tied into receiving pleasure too, right? It's like, I am worthy of receiving.
Yeah. That's
And
such
that
a big
includes
one.
pleasure. Like I am worthy of receiving pleasure. I'm worthy of receiving compliments. I'm worthy of, you know, getting blessings from the gods or the universe or whatever, you know. And I think like that is so tied into sensuality and pleasure, because again, it's like we have to be in our bodies, we have to be present, we have to not deflect those things, and we have to stay present for them. And it's fucking uncomfortable, you know.
100%.
And I think about how much of my life have I spent like avoiding discomfort. And the reality, like even on a scientific level, on like the anatomy level, is that pleasure and pain are like the same fucking circuitry. So it's like, if I'm trying to avoid pain, I am totally avoiding pleasure too.
Yeah.
Right? So
And how that's tied to money.
yes. So tied to fucking money.
Big
I suck
time.
at that.
I was something I always say about this, and it's something I learned, you know, around my mid 30s. If your cup is empty, you can't give to anyone. So denying yourself a pleasure, denying yourself a worthiness means you deny everyone else. If you allow yourself to be worthy, allow yourself to express, that is the biggest gift you can give it, because it says, I'm safe in my own skin, therefore you can be safe in your skin, and you can be yourself around me, and you can give me love, and you'll know I'll return it because I take it, so I'm able to give it back. You can't give love if you reject it. It's fake. It's not real, because you don't love yourself. How can you love anyone else? It's not sincere. It's talk. It's just like chitter chatter, like I'm trying to appease the gods, or I'm trying to appease society. I'm going to be nice to you, but it's not real nice. Real nice, you love yourself, you take the compliment, and you can give it back. And you can, it's sincere, and like, hey, you're safe with me because I love myself, so I can love you. I think that's such a powerful thing.
It really is. It really is.
My word for the year is reciprocity. And it has been a struggle. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to give back to my community. I'm going to do all these things. And I am doing those things. And then, like, there are moments that have come up. Actually, over the weekend, I was asked to do some artwork for a bookstore. And then I was like, yeah, totally, no worries. And then they were like, so we want to pay you. And I was like, oh.
Get paid.
That changes the whole conversation,
I
right?
was like, I don't know. And they were like, no, we pay our artists. That's really important to us. We value you. And I'm like,
We're worth it.
oh, okay. And it's just so uncomfortable for me. And it's like compliments. But it's like, I talked to my therapist about it, and she was like, that's part of reciprocity, Veronica.
Yeah.
It's letting yourself receive. And like you said, Julie, it's filling your own cup. And I'm like, I know. So, and it
Honestly, yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, being an artist professionally is what helped me learn this.
right.
Because how can I do it if I don't get paid and I can't feed myself or my family or have a roof over my head? How can I do it?
Yeah.
Unless like we're a free society, that's not happening.
When was the point for you as an artist, like as a professional artist, where you were like, I am worth this? Like, was it like a light switch? Was it like something that gradually happened for you?
It was hard. So it was weird. It was a phase. And I think it's very similar to what Nishida was explaining with her dancers. So when you start out, you're like, yeah, it's like full on because you're naive and new. And as a child, it was not a problem. And I, as a child, was like, I'm going to be a painter for the rest of my life and I'm going to die a painter. And, but there was this crucial point where it's like, it's serious now. I was working as a project manager at a time and doing my art on the side. And, I was doing lots of commissions, but it's the way the people wanted, but it's not my style. It'd be like, I want something like that artist. I want something like this. And I would allow it. Of course, I would modify it to look like mine, but it's still not fully mine. And I got burnt out because, first of all, I wasn't charging enough. I'm not doing something that's true to myself. And I felt very empty inside and I started hating it. I started hating doing art. And so I took a break for a very long time. 10 years. And then I think when you're someone who's an artist in whatever form of capacity that is, because art comes in many forms, you need to be an artist. Like you have to do it. And it was eating away at my soul every day, not being an artist, like just doing the work. And finally I decided to do it, but I said, I'm just going to do it my way. And I'm not going to do it to sell it. I'll work and then do that. And then what happened is when people started getting commissions, it's like, here's my commission page. This is the contract. Like, this is what I'll do. This is what you can, how you can dictate how you want things. But that's it. Like once, you approve the design, blah, 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 that's it. There's no going back. And that was really hard. That was really hard because I'm like, I might lose them. I might lose. But the funny thing is when I started doing things like that and then pricing properly, like really, and that was hard and like biting my tongue, all of a sudden I lost a bunch of clients. But guess what? A bunch of new clients that wanted to support me, that loved my work, not the fact that it wasn't people coming in like, oh, I know this girl who does cheap work. It was, oh, I love this artist's work. It's a different narrative. And it took me a while. And I mean, I did business courses and things, and that really helped me understand like money. And so, money is just energy. And if currency didn't exist, like in our form currency that we use today, it would be in some other form, right? Whether it's like bartering, our talents, bartering like what we make, whatever. We're going to barter energy no matter what. Like that's how we do things. Right. So it's just that we have like a really crooked system on how we do it now. But I think I would say that when that changed for me is when I realized that I can't sustain this life. And it's the whole filling up your cup thing. I gave, but I never took. And I was always running on empty, and it made me not love my art. So then one day, so I have my 1, 2, 3 rule. So whenever I'm scared about something, I do 1, 2, 3, go. And I'm like, this is how much it is. Like 1, 2, 3, this is my contract. And like, I just don't look, I don't care. I don't turn back. I just do the damn thing, terrified. And it's like, what can happen? They say no, and sure enough, over time, I stopped being scared, but it's practice. Everything's practice. So like sometimes you just got to do it scared until it gets easy. And when you got a bunch of people coming up to you like, thank you so much, your work means so much. I have people that still contact me and they bought work from me 10 years ago and they're like, oh, I was just looking at it and the sun was shining on it, and I just want to tell you I really appreciate it. Like you gave me this is such a good gift. And then they recommend me to people, and it's like, wow, when I buy art from people, I think about how much joy it brought me and how like it just inspires me, and it's such a muse for me. And that's art in many different forms, like whether I'm watching, ballet or like, opera or theater or like physical art, like there's so many ways, music, but it brought me something, it opened me up, it helped me express myself. Art helped me see myself. It's like a reflection, someone's reflection of the world, in their opinion, how they reflect the world. But it connected with me because for me, that form of art, the way they did it, connects to me. It shows me who I am. Do you know what I mean? That's why you like certain art compared to others, because there's something in that artist that is reflecting you. Like, I believe that. And so for me, it was realizing, well, if I'm able to get that from other artists, why am I denying other people getting that from me? Like, that's not fair to them. And another big one I have is, why would you ever assume someone can't afford your art? That's saying they don't have the money, or you assume they're not capable, or they're like, you know what I mean? It's not nice to them.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's you have to think, you have to kind of flip it. And that's what helped me, is thinking that perspective.
It's like a values alignment. It's like
Yeah.
I value myself and I attract others who also value me. That's so beautiful. I feel like you just
And
I
see,
just
and that's where I believe in that manifestation stuff. That's how I believe in it. It's a reciprocity. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I just think it and it happens. It's like, you think it, you write it, you do it, you be it, you give, you take, right? Like, it's more than
Yeah.
just
It's
a picture.
magic. It's very
It's Six
Yeah.
of Pentacles,
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh
Six
yeah.
of Pentacles, I always feel like, is about as much about giving as it is receiving. It's both.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah.
whenever I read most people's like take on the Six of Pentacles, I feel like they focus on one or the other. And I'm like, it's both though. It's like, if you're always doing the giving, like, you can't sustain that. If you're always doing the receiving, like, how are you balancing things out? You know?
Yeah.
And the reciprocity. I mean, like, Veronica, if you don't have a Six of Pentacles on your altar, I'm telling you. And like, going
I'm
back
the girl of Pentacle.
right? Going back to like for me, like what you were saying, Veronica, about like, oh, I was so willing to do it until they wanted to pay me. I feel like what came up for me when you were talking about that, and then something that came up when Julia was talking too, is that, first of all, I feel like people don't value what they don't pay a high price for. That's something that was a hard pill to swallow when I did massage therapy. I never charged what I was worth, and I was treated accordingly. And then what you were saying too about like, suddenly when I got the offer to get paid, it was like, oh shit. And I think, like, for me, and I don't know how you feel about this, but it was like all of a sudden it went from doing something like, I'm doing this for fun and I have leeway to fuck it up. Right? Like, I can take a risk because I'm doing this for free. But like, if somebody is paying me, then I feel like it has to be perfect, and it puts
The
a lot more pressure
responsibility
on.
Responsibility.
And then the imposter syndrome creeps in. Like, do I
Yeah,
deserve to
that's
get
what it is. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm not worth this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So Julia, I really appreciate what you said about that, because I think like I think you've mentioned this before too, like about the art being a reflection of like who you are, because I know like I paint, and we talked about this, like I paint very like casually. But like the styles that I paint in and the things that I like are really a lot influenced by the artists that I like, because it's like I saw something that they did that like I was like, I want to express myself like that, or that speaks to my soul. And so yeah, I really love that thought, because it is like this way that we're mirroring our common humanity to each other, right? Like through any kind of art. And we are, and I think we've all talked about this before, but it's like we are designed to express ourselves as human beings. Like, we do not, I mean, like, getting paid is awesome, but we don't have to do it for consumption. Like, you know, like I have stacks of canvases in my office right here that like nobody outside of my office will ever see, because I just painted it to have fun with paint and color. And that was really hard for me, because I am a perfectionist. Like, I wanted to paint something with a capital S, like I'm painting something, versus I'm just playing with color and shape. And that, I mean, like when you think about like cave art, okay, I'm gonna go way back, because like
Let's go.
in the future or in the present, we make meaning of this cave art, right? And it does speak to us. It still speaks to us. Like, our lives could not be more different from these people who created these things, but it's like we want to make meaning from it. Oh, this was a religious thing. Oh, they're trying to call in the bison. Oh, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. And it's like, what if they were just having fun like, oh shit, this rock is red. I'm gonna make some powder and I'm gonna blow. Like, I love the handprint, right? That they blew the powder around the ochre or
The
whatever.
red ochre.
I love that because it's just like they were just having fun, maybe. Like maybe it didn't mean shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like here we are in the present time, like, oh, they were expressing themselves and da 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 and calling in the magic of blah 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 blah. And it's like maybe they were just like, cool, this rock is red. Let me see if I can do some shit with it. You know, like
But isn't that the beauty though, that
Right.
it makes you think
Mhm.
and it makes you have ideas and question? Like that's what makes the world go round. That's why we create. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
There's a lot
Nothing
of
could be
debate
more
and-
natural than to like create something as a human being. Like that's what we do. We
Yeah.
create shit.
There's at least, well, things have changed obviously since I was in school, but for like archaeology, there's like a big debate on things being art for art's sake versus like it was the moon was at the
Didactical or whatever.
Yeah.
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 I have many, as you know, opinions on the art for art's sake. Like, I'm like, everyone's an artist. You don't have to be a professional artist to be an artist. But I also really respect people who take that challenge on because I think I know it's challenging for me and it's amazing. I think it's amazing. But I do feel like a lot of times once money gets involved, I do feel like, am I having fun or am I working? Is this now work?
Sure.
And so, yeah, I get stuck in that thought pattern. And it does put a pressure on it to be better and to be perfect. And so I think I just have to get out of the idea of like this is like maybe I just need to pretend like I'm not getting paid or
There
something.
you go.
Also, Veronica, think they chose you because there's something about you
You're right.
that drew them. They want you. Like,
Mhm.
I always say this about art. You know, people are like, oh, you know, there's so much competition. I'm like, no, it's not about, like, it's the story. It's the story. It's the artist's story, the artist's reflection, their personality, their soul in the work. That's what draws people at the end of the day. That's what's going to make someone go to you or someone else. And that's all good, whoever they choose. And they chose you. So at the end of the day, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter because whatever it is they saw about you that they liked, they want and they're willing to pay for it. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
They just want who you are, like how you see the world. They want that, you know?
You're so right.
So speaking of Six of Pentacles, I think it's time for us to draw some cards. Woo!
All
right.
My Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle here with me.
Appropriate. I'm doing an oracle today, The Divine Feminine.
Oh,
By the artwork is by Lisbeth Shever Jessamine.
So I'm drawing from the Rest deck by Trisha Hersey.
oh, I love that
Oh,
one.
yes.
That's so
That is good.
Let's see. I'm like trying to find all my cards. Okay, I'll go with this one. I'm gonna do I'm stuck in min bulk apparently. In bulk.
I love the colors of like blue and gold like mixed together, like these two colors together, Julia. I love those colors.
Complementary colors,
Yeah.
the warm and the cold. Yeah.
Making sounds. Yes.
I can go.
Yeah.
So it's called Weather Divination and looks like this. And it says, I trust in what I feel, for what I feel are signs to pay mine to. It's very much, that feels really right now, like senses and Beltane, and I'm really liking that.
Very much so. All right, I can go. So this one says, I am asking for divine grace and rest to cover me. I will anoint myself with rest.
Oh.
And the back says, sit, stand, or lie down in a comfortable position. Place your hands over your heart and breathe slowly. In a culture focused on hyperproductivity, it can feel uncomfortable to be still and do nothing, just letting silence wash over you. Cultivate a space for silence right now. It can be a few seconds, it can be a minute, a lifetime. Trust your body. With your hands over your heart, repeat, grind culture cannot have me. I will resist. I will rest. Keep slowly repeating this to yourself. Slow down each word until it covers you. This is rest.
Oh man.
So that was calling me out.
I know, right?
Like, I get it.
Dang.
They always do that.
Pinkies up to the cards.
For real.
I can go next. Okay, once again, cards calling me out. So the goddess I pulled was Kali,
Ooh.
and her message is I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. It says when your soul selects this card, Kali is as subtle as a sledgehammer. She shows up to strip us of what no longer serves us. And that sounds good in theory, but in practice, it can feel as if the ground beneath us has turned to sand. All those illusions about ourselves, especially what we think we're capable of, suddenly dissolve beneath us. When Kali sweeps in, we can easily slip into feeling like a victim. It can feel as though events are happening to us rather than for us. Kali doesn't want us to waste another precious second being someone we are not. She doesn't want us to be with a partner who doesn't treat us with the respect and love we need to do the light work we've come here to do. Kali wants to sever the ties our ego has made out of fear or out of false belief that we don't deserve better or more. She wants us to get terrifyingly real. She wants us to reckon with the fact that we are not here to please others or to make them proud. We are here to listen to the singular call of our own soul. Kali is a harbinger of having entered Kairos, soul time, and stripping the ego to reveal the soul can feel raw and often heartbreaking. But ultimately, Kali has come out of fierce love for the truth of who we really are. She is giving us the opportunity to choose again, to start over, and this time from a place of tremendous wisdom and strength, our vulnerability. She lets us begin again from the bare bones truth of who we are.
Oh, preach, Kali, preach.
Yes. Yes.
Feeling that.
I got Phoenix.
Oh my God.
I know, I was like, how perfect. This one says, summoned, your flesh rises from the ashes and into the expansive flame of your soul. I love it.
Oh, wow.
So much fire.
Wow, the
I
cards
know,
today
right?
are all on point.
Right.
There we go.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh my goodness, those truth cards.
Right?
Spilling the tea.
I like cards that are straight to the point.
Right.
Mhm.
Fucking around.
Mhm.
It's so funny. I was just thinking about how like we sit here and we talk about this stuff, and it's like, okay, I know all the answers when I'm on the podcast or like talking to my friends, but do I do the things for myself? No, I do not. So that is real.
Yes.
Just a little bit at a time, right? Just a little bit at a time. Just a little bit of braveness. That's what I keep saying. It's just got to be a little bit brave today. You don't have to go all out. Just a little bit.
I really love your like 1, 2, 3 go. I need to start doing more of
I'm definitely gonna start doing that.
I learned that when I was a kid. I'm like, I'm scared. 1, 2, 3, go. Just don't think, just do it.
Yeah.
If it goes bad, it goes bad. You know, I haven't died yet, so.
Right. And I always feel like the things that I was the most scared of are the most rewarding, like when I do them, you know,
Yeah.
especially like physical things. Like I was always kind of a scaredy kid. Like it took me forever to learn how to ride a bike. Like I never really learned how to swim until I was like in 3rd grade. Like, I mean, there were just so many like stupid things I was afraid of, you know, and it's like, and then the other things I didn't care about. Like I was super not afraid, you know, and kind of reckless, but I just like, I need more of that 1, 2, 3, go energy in my life for sure. So, our next topic, our next episode. I'm so excited about this one. I have to look at my notes because I forgot which one it was.
So we come out.
So it's consumption in witchcraft and intuition and awareness. So it's a double episode. So yeah, consumption in witchcraft and intuition and awareness. These are good topics because I think really tie into a lot of the stuff we were talking about today too, you know.
They piggyback.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So stay tuned for that one. And it was nice hanging with everybody today. It was always good to chat with you all and have our tea.
Yes. Yes. All the way up.
Right? Yeah, there was a lot of hot tea served in this episode. All right, witches.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Sensuality.
Yes. Enjoy your spring.
Have fun.
Yes.